Being an entrepreneur, to be honest, it's not for everyone. It's frustrating, very frustrating at times. It's very rewarding at times. But it's you always have to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right? You know the whole get out of your comfort zone? You're an entrepreneur, you're going to get out of your comfort zone.
Welcome to episode 2 of Insure Your Greatness podcast. I am your host, Abraham Valera, and this is my guest, Franco. How are you doing, my friend? How's everything today?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing good. So, Franco, I guess we could jump right to it. I know you have a digital marketing agency, and how did that journey start? How was that all about? Why did you start that? How'd that go?
Sure. So, to be able to understand how I started that, I actually have to explain what I did during my time at FIU.
Okay.
And essentially, when I was at FIU, I was a finance major and I loved it until I came across more of the marketing people, which made me realize that I liked marketing a little bit more as well. So I ended up doing both.
Is that when you started the AMA?
That's when I joined AMA.
Oh, okay.
Correct. Yes, okay. That's when I started dipping my toes in marketing, and I started to like that.
Mm-hmm.
But during my time at FIU, I realized that, and I took 2 different internships at large companies, and I realized I didn't really like those roles that much because they were very routine, right? And for me, I didn't want to do something that was very routine in the sense of doing the same thing every day.
Of course.
And during that same time, I also had the opportunity to intern at a venture-backed firm. And that venture-backed firm it had raised money. It was going to launch something on Kickstarter. It launched something on Kickstarter. And the fact that in that internship right there allowed me to learn a lot, because when you're at an internship at a venture-backed company, you have to learn a lot of things on your own. I really like that experience, right? So I decided to start a company, and I don't know if you knew, but I started a company called Gel Services with 2 other friends.
I was going to ask you about that too.
So we did that for a bit, and that didn't go as planned, as many startups.
Which that's just part of the game, right? That's just how it goes.
Exactly. So we did that for a while, and then after that, we decided, and this is me and my current business partner, we decided to start up a marketing agency, because during our time with Joust, we were able to develop some relationships with some automotive shops that allowed us to be able to kind of push some services to them. So we started doing that, and with the intent of opening up and growing a marketing agency that will allow us to be independent in the future.
And that was your same business partner, the one that you opened out with the Joust?
Yeah, with Joust it was 3 of us, but with Ren it's one of them. Yeah.
Oh man, that's nice. And I was actually gonna ask you about Joust, because after FIU, we kept in contact because I know you needed insurance for Joust and you were not able to find it. Did you?
Did
you find it?
No, we didn't. I think that at some point we did get in contact with a company and they told us a crazy amount of money. But we didn't raise money. It didn't really go past I would say the initial phase. We did end up doing some test runs of we actually did end up working with about 3 different automotive shops, and we did do some test runs where we took the cars from the office to their locations and back. So obviously I should add more context to this. So Joust was meant to be a company that would take your car to get serviced and bring it back to you by the end of the day.
Correct. Yep. So I remember now completely. It's hitting me. Yep.
Exactly. Because a lot of people, like, to be honest, if you have to go to the automotive shop to get your car serviced, it might take you 2 to 3 hours, right? Yep. You have to wait. You have to wait in line until you get the attention you need. Then they work on your car, and then you're out. It takes you 2 to 3 hours. So we wanted to make it easier so that while you're at work, your car is getting serviced, and by the end of the day, you get your car back.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out. And to be honest, it's because we were too young. We didn't understand a lot of the things that we needed to do in order to be able to make this possible. But we did learn how to communicate with some businesses. In this case, like I mentioned, some automotive shops started working with us. We did do some test runs with some people that we knew, some friends and colleagues. and we took their cars to get service as if we were doing what we would do.
Yeah.
Right. But no, it never really took off. I'm pretty sure maybe in like 5 years it might take off for some.
But you still have it open? Like it's still
No, we already closed it. Yeah.
Or you thinking about opening it up or again?
No, but I think that idea someone might take might want to build on it in the next few years, because I think that there is a lot of potential in that.
Yeah, I think
but
so too.
They're gonna have to learn a lot of things that we learned, and it definitely needs to be someone who's a quick learner and potentially or has already had experience doing a startup in the first place.
Yeah, man. Because I remember like that idea was not bad whatsoever. I thought it was super good. The only thing is finding insurance for that was just impossible. It was no company would wanted to take on that risk just because obviously you would have to be using other people's vehicles and then be taking it to service and then bringing it back, and it was just like I don't know.
The whole thing was who's responsible and at what point.
Yeah.
So we had no processes. We had very
minimal
basic processes.
Yeah.
But of course, even then, like no one wanted to listen to a couple of 21-year-olds who had an idea.
Of course. And so, did you ever have like a real job ever after college?
No.
You did the startup, and then from there you jumped right into the marketing agency. Now, right?
Yeah.
With digital agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's super cool, because I know at least a lot of people. And how about in college? Did you have a job in college?
I did a few internships, right? Some of them, one of them was about a year long, right? So that one, when I was in before I went to class, I would go to work. I'd work from, I think it was like 7 or 8 in the morning until like 5, and then I'd go to class. And that's what I did, right? And then the other one, it was like a summer internship. The other one was also an internship during the school year. So that's pretty much a lot of what I did. Yeah.
That's really good then. Yeah. That's really good. And how about what you're doing now? That digital marketing, how's that going for you? That looks like you're like in deep into that territory.
I'm in deep, and to be honest, it's you follow Gary Vaynerchuk as well.
Yeah.
And I follow Gary, and I actually listen to a lot of founders, right? It takes a while to grow something, right? With where we are with with Ren, I was about to say Joust. Where we are with Ren, I think we're in a good position in that we already understand maybe what our niche is. Because at the beginning, and this is a tip for anyone who's paying attention to this, if you're starting a business, don't try to be too broad, right? If you try to please everyone, chances are you're not going to be able to, and you're not going to be able to get better at everything.
Man, and that's so true even in insurance. Like, when a lot of people try to be too broad and try to take on so many different types of insurance, it gets hard, because I've seen at least agencies that focus on a niche when it comes to insurance are always the ones that do really good. They focus on only certain types of risks. Some agencies just focus on personal insurance, some focus on commercial. But when you focus on a niche, it's very true. It's just so much. You become a master at that craft, so Definitely. It becomes easier. It doesn't mean you don't take on other work, but you try to stick to your niche just because you could just maximize on that 100%.
Yeah, and I think it's to be honest, and going back to the fact that now we're niching down. At the beginning, you don't know where you want to go.
Exactly.
Right. You have to keep on working with other people until you realize maybe what route you want to take. So at the beginning, we were doing a lot of projects. And until recently, we were doing a lot of projects for literally anyone who's like, hey, I need a website. Hey, I need some ads. But then recently we have started working with lawyers, because, the very first one we worked with, boom, got leads, was like, okay, great, let's keep doing this. So then we decided to package it. Right. So kind of like come up with I would say something that will make it more scalable, because when you think about digital marketing, it's not scalable. Yeah. Right. So obviously for us, it's not necessarily scalable, but we're trying to package it. So we're kind of, there's a term, I can't remember where I read this, and it's productizing a service. And that's kind of what we want to do, in the sense of, look, a lawyer in Miami that wants divorce clients, chances are they're kind of similar to those in New York that want divorce clients. Yeah. The only difference is that the ads need to say New York in one place and Miami in the other. So that's where we are now. And things are going generally okay. I'm not going to say that they're great. Yeah. I'm not going to say I'm successful yet. I'm still far away from that. For me, I think success.
How long have you guys been open for already?
For this one, about 2.5 years.
Shit, damn, it's been a while. Then you guys have been.
That's
open
actually,
for
I think it's very little.
Time flies. No, it is. Time flies. That's what I mean. Like I is that like. I see what you're always doing, what you're up to. I would have thought you started this maybe less than a year ago. And look at that. It's already been 2.5 years. Yeah. Jesus, yeah.
But I have to say, like, part of the reason why I've been able to take the risks that I have is because, and I think a lot of people sometimes take it for granted that, and not take it for granted, but like you always have the option of where you go to school, right? Mm-hmm. And depending on what you want to do, you will take on a certain amount of debt. Right.
Yep. That's for sure.
Yeah, and look, I know people that are $150,000 in debt, right? And they're doing a business degree. And look, sure, they'll pay it off, but it might be in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. They have no choice but to start working right now, right?
Have to.
And exactly, and part of the reason I was able to do this is because I didn't graduate with any debt, right? If I would have graduated with that, to be honest, I'd probably be working right now for something else. Because that's would have been the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah, because you already have bills coming right out of school.
Yeah,
like you got big bills already. Yeah. Like it's just like wow.
Yeah.
No, of course.
But it's like something that I always want to like share with people, right? Because and right now it's so easy to get into debt because the government, gives you money.
No, and that's happened with me, to be honest. I've gone into crazy credit card debt. And it was just living a lifestyle that was not pertain to me. I was just wasting too much money and it's just credit cards. And it's just like, wow, now what? And now when I realize it, and thank God I realize it now, because some people don't ever realize it or realize it when it's way too late. Yeah. But it's one of those things like, you getting into having debt and trying to start your own stuff, your own business, building your own clientele. It's just like, it really, because imagine you're going to get paid commission off all these clients and everything that you do, all the services that you do, plus having all this debt. So you need money now. Like exactly. you can't be patient. And it's terrible. And
not just, I think, and we're kind of going a little bit away from the marketing aspect, but I think it's important that people understand that, you have to pay attention to cash flows.
Yeah, right. 100%.
And it's like, at the end of the day, you have to think about where you want to be in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Yep.
Or beyond, right? My goal, and I don't know what your goal is, but my goal is to be able to retire early. Right? Mm-hmm. Hopefully in my 30s. That is my goal. Not because I don't want to work. I would still probably start another company here every year, something. But I want to be able to know that I don't have to work if I don't want to.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you mean by retire though? Like you don't want to
for me, in my mind, work? It's knowing that I don't need to work.
That's or have a substantial amount of money? That you don't have to work, or what is it? I ask because there's so many people I feel a lot of people work and I don't know where the mindset you have about retiring early, whatever it is, but some people I just feel like they just want to win the lotto, right? Win the lotto and then not do anything. And it's so hard to have that mindset and actually grow something because sometimes whatever you do, you got to do it forever, for as long as you like,
No, for me, I'm always going to keep on working on something. To be honest, I have a lot of ideas that I'd like to take on in the next few years. But for that, I would like to already be in a place where I wouldn't say I'd say I'm comfortable. And what I mean is for example, if you want to retire by the age of 40 as a 25-year-old, it's not that difficult to retire. You just need to understand how money works and how interest and compounding works. So for example, it's look.
Oh, this is a whole nother topic. This is a good topic because I talk about this a lot.
Yeah,
and this because we got segmented something completely different, but yeah.
But the main thing is you always. You don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. So what you should definitely do if you feel there's not a lot that you know is ask around and try to learn. Right, in the sense of with this digital agency, I wish I would have understood that I should have niched down early on. And look, don't get me wrong. I did think about niching down, and I had come across it before, but I never did it. right? I wish I would have paid attention to that a lot earlier, because then that would have made it easier for us to be able to already have a head start and look for these lawyers. Right now we're in December. The good thing, last week I was at an event with my business partner in New York, and we spoke to several lawyers. The downside is that it's the end of the year and everyone's going home, right? So we have to wait until January when they're coming back to most likely be able to close some deals. But if we would have, gotten ahead of ourselves and tested out these new things earlier on, chances are we would have already closed a few more this year.
Exactly.
Right? And it's just, you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. It's just experience. And that's a really good point. And when no one starts with a niche. It kind of just comes to you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm almost in the same boat right now. I'm doing a lot of commercial insurance. I don't know what my niche is going to be. I'm just grabbing onto everything. But I kind of already can kind of tell what I like, what I don't like, what I get a lot of, what I don't. And then, there you should start building your niche. And I think that's super, super important because like I was saying before, you become really good at that.
Exactly.
And then there's so much things to learn. Like let's say in your case for the lawyers, there's so many things you probably still don't know. And so many things that you got to learn that if you don't have that niche and you don't jump into that, how are you going to do it? Exactly. If you do a little bit of everything, it's like the saying, if you chase 2 rabbits, you end up catching none. Same thing. You got to just stick to one thing and do it. And not just be, laser focused on one thing, but become very good at maybe a certain aspect. Because then that, you just, you know what you're good at. You know where your clients can mostly come from. And yeah, that definitely helps.
Yeah.
That definitely helps a lot. But all right. So then you started, was it Ren? And you've been doing it for 2.5 years, and your niche right now, it looks like it's going to be doing lawyers and stuff like that.
For now, it's lawyers, yeah.
Have you thought about doing anything else? Have you been good at anything else in your agency?
Mm-hmm. So there are a couple of things that we also want to go towards, right? Mm-hmm. We were able to work with several influencers when this past year, and some of those opportunities there, we realize that those are some things that we should probably focus on in the near future, right? So we definitely want to keep on an eye on that, and we are looking at taking some of what we've learned with those campaigns with these influencers and perhaps doing more, but this time more on our terms, right? Because before it was on their terms because they were the influencer, but now maybe a little bit more on our terms, and that's what we think might be good.
Because you do all the Google ads, Facebook ads. That's how you do your agency. That's how you create these revenues and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's
how you do it. Mm-hmm. How about just growing social media organically? Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? How?
So that's not something I focus on specifically, and
that's not something you focus on.
No. And the reason is because for now, a lot of the companies we're working with are small businesses, right?
Okay.
They generally need to be able to see something right away, right? Because if you try to grow your Instagram account, you try to grow your
LinkedIn,
Twitter account, LinkedIn account, right? Chances are, and the right route to take is a content marketing route, right? Yeah. Share good content, have people follow you, right? But that doesn't always translate into sales right away.
Yeah.
Right. So businesses.
That's more what is it, branding yourself?
Exactly. And I think it's a good move. The only thing is at least from my experience coming up across many small businesses, they're small. They don't have that much money to just put into branding and knowing that they might not see something for a few months, right? So the best way for us to be able to show them results is run lead generation campaigns on Google or Facebook where people will call them and then they can sell to them, right? That's something that if I run a Google campaign right now for a lawyer, I can get them a call today, or 2 or 3, depending on their budget. Correct. From people who are looking for their services. And that's something that you can get if you're just slowly posting on social media.
Of course.
Now, when I'm able to start working with larger companies, that's something I want to push because I think that that's extremely important. And I don't know, you probably see my stuff on LinkedIn. I'm always sharing stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I do content marketing for me and my company. And exactly. I know that there's value in that because I do see that there's engagement.
Of course. No, and the thing is that, You know, it's just like you said, that's more of like a long-term thing. You're trying to build your brand, and building a brand takes years to do.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
once you grow that organically, I think it does help a lot, and I think that's why people should start right away. Like, it's not wait, but yeah. And how about?
But just to add to that, I think a lot of people start right away, but they don't understand that it takes a long time.
Oh yeah, no, and that's what everything though, right? Like,
exactly,
everything takes a long time for it to build. Like, you can't have, you know, it's like how we were talking about before we started the whole TikTok movement. Like, yeah, you could probably get viral right now, but even the people that go viral and don't keep up with it, what are they gonna do? It's just gonna die out.
Yeah.
So you gotta do it for consistently, and do it for a long period of time. That's how it's gonna work.
Definitely.
But what I wanted to ask you was that, because I know like what's super popular in those ads is always Google ads, Google AdWords, and Facebook ads, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about Instagram ads? Does that ever work? How's that?
Well, here's the thing. It's funny because when I say Facebook ads, I also
mean Instagram?
Google ads. I mean Instagram ads. My bad. So when I say Facebook, I mean Instagram ads, Messenger ads, and stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah, Instagram ads work, but
they do.
You always have to be testing out different things, right? On Facebook and Instagram, for example, what ends up working best is when you have media that has a face, right? If you have an image of a phone, right?
Yeah.
And you compare that to an image of a phone and a person holding the phone, and you see the person, the picture with or the video with the person is going to do better, because people are generally attracted to a person.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
You know, you're going to they're going to get your attention.
Yeah.
Because it's just how we are. So you always have to be testing. On Instagram, those ads can work if you do them right, but it's always testing, and it's always retargeting, right? So the worst thing you can do is run an ad and then say, "Oh, no one bought anything from my store," and then you do nothing else.
Yeah.
What you should do is keep in mind that people, when they see an ad on Facebook or they see an ad on Instagram, they might click on the link. They might go to a page on the website. They might see the product. They might add it to their cart, because everyone does that to see what the price of shipping is going to be.
Yeah.
And then they leave,
true.
right?
They don't buy
Those
nothing.
people were interested, but they didn't buy anything. But you have to stay on their mind. You have to run some retargeting ads that says, "Hey, check out now and get 10% off."
I've done that.
And that's what you got to do.
It's funny. I did that not that long ago on a Facebook ad. It was a Facebook ad for cartoons, like making your own cartoon videos.
Mm-hmm.
I clicked it, right? And I was looking at it. I was looking at their prices. I went in, but I didn't buy anything. I was just because I was all doing it to social media, and I wanted to do like a video ad or something on Facebook, on Instagram. So whatever, but I didn't end up buying it. Man, I saw those ads everywhere.
Exactly.
In the same company, it was just ad after ad after ad, and knowing how everything works, like, I know I was gonna be seeing that for like the next couple of weeks. I was just gonna keep getting it. But
that's key. That is key, and that works with everything, because if you see an ad right now, that doesn't mean you're ready to buy. It might, it's possible that you
will
get
paid.
your check on Friday.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
So you always have to run ads to maintain to keep that attention.
No, definitely. And I think it does work. Obviously, well, it does definitely work, because it keeps popping up. And once you're ready to buy it, then you're going to buy it, obviously. Yeah, man, that's really good. That's really, really good. But I don't know. Anything else? Growing social media, because that's what I'm big at right now. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm, trying to grow the Instagram, trying to grow the Facebook and the LinkedIn and all that. What else besides ads do you think people could do in social media to grow at least their personal brand and stuff like that? Well,
I think that you definitely have to consider the amount or the frequency at which you can share stuff, and incorporate a content strategy that is meant to help you based on that frequency. So what I mean is, for example, I have a friend, right, and he's been able. I think he has like maybe 18,000 followers now, right? And at the beginning of this year,
what does he do?
He's a digital marketer as well.
Okay.
I think he started the year with like 1,000 followers. Now he's at 18,000, right?
The thing is, you have so much leverage when you have so much followers. Like, you have leverage in the sense that, you have like, whatever you post is gonna you get so many people to see it.
But here's the thing. For him, the reason why he has as many followers as he has right now is because he went all in on content. And he was posting, I think, 2 times a day.
Okay.
Right? 7 days a week for like 2 or 3 months. And that's when he got like all those like 12,000 people of those 18. He got like 12,000 people within those 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
Right? It's because he was sharing content. At the end of the day, if a user's going through stuff and then they see that video, they're going to think to themselves, should I follow this person? They're going to go look at the profile and say, okay, their content is great. Okay, that's a reason why I should follow them. Oh, they're posting every day. Okay, this person's active. I might follow them. But if you're not active, you're posting once every month, twice every month, and your stuff isn't that good, people are not going to follow you. Yeah. Right? So it's like if you're able, and this is where I get at with the frequency, if you're able to share a lot of content each day, right? Yeah. And very frequently, I would say that you should try to pump out as much content as you can. And that will work very well for everything really, but that would be great for like Instagram and stuff. Now, I think that if you don't have a lot of time, right?
Which a lot of people don't.
You can change stuff up, right? For example, maybe an idea might be to share stuff on YouTube. And I'm a big fan of YouTube because I think that when it comes to YouTube, you have evergreen content to your favor. And a lot of people might not understand what evergreen content is, but it's essentially content that withstands time. So for example, if I do a video on the iPhone, if I do a video on the iPhone 11, within a year, that video is not going to move anymore because who the hell is looking up stuff for iPhone 11 in 2022 or 2021, right? Yep. But if I do a video that talks about the history of Apple, that video is going to be good for like the next 50, 100, 150 years until maybe Apple closes and whatever, right? That video is going to keep on doing well. So definitely that event, evergreen, I would say, pro of sharing content on like YouTube is made so that while your video is there, it's still getting a lot of followers. Yeah. Which is something that lacks or that you don't see in Instagram because after like a day or two, that post just doesn't grow anymore.
Of course.
It's not Instagram is not a search engine.
Of course. And that's why I was asking you that because I know that you do, even though I know you said that like organically growing Instagram, that's not your niche. You do more of like Google ads and stuff like that, but I know you do it yourself. Like you have your own YouTube, you have your blog, your video blog that you do. So I know you're heavy on that. And has that like, how has that worked out for you? Like, how cool. Is it you do it just for fun or you do it because you want to like just gain, I don't know, followers on YouTube or what is it?
So several reasons. One, I like doing it for fun. Yeah. Right.
It starts there, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you know me, I like talking about these business things. I like talking about social media, marketing, business, current events in business, etc. So for me, that's why I find it easy for me to be able to create content. Yeah. Right. Now, I also do it for business. And the reason is if I create a piece of content that then I can share on YouTube, then that means I could also share that on LinkedIn. Right. And remember how I was talking about the retargeting with Facebook ads and Instagram ads? Correct. I'm kind of doing retargeting on LinkedIn with my followers when I'm sharing content on LinkedIn. Why? If I do a video where, let's say you saw this post of me at the lawyer event the other day, right?
Yep. Correct.
Cool. You thought, okay, Franco's working with lawyers. Perfect. If over the next 2 to 3 months, you see maybe once a week of me sharing a post. I'm talking about Google, talking about advertising on Google, talking about landing pages, talking about specific things that lawyers can do. Maybe right now you don't know about a lawyer that needs these digital marketing services, but maybe in 2 months you do. You come across one. And guess what? I've always been on your mind. So then that will tell you, hey, you know what? I need to contact Franco. And that's already happened to me. I think last month I had 2 leads come in because they saw posts that I had shared.
That happens all the time with social media. That's why it's always good to stay consistent with that because that happens and it happens a lot. And even if, like you said, you should stay in their mind. regardless. And especially that plays a lot in my industry with insurance, because everybody needs it. So when you see someone always posting and they, he does insurance, and you see him, it stays in your mind. So next time you need insurance, I'll contact him. I see him on my feed all the time. So yeah, that's super important. How about posting in Spanish, like doing, because I know a lot of like bilingual, especially it's very big like in the fitness world, or they post like you say like an Instagram video or something, and they put the captions in Spanish as well. Have you tried that? Have you tried to experiment with that, trying to cross the barrier?
I've tried it, but I'd rather keep it to just one language. I just feel like tailor it to one audience. Now I do speak sometimes in Spanish, but I think that's completely different, right? I am not going to share YouTube videos in Spanish and English, confuse people.
And I ask because my dad gets on me so much. He's like, do things in English. I mean, do things in Spanish. Do them in Spanish. So I'm like, I think about it. I'm like, yeah, maybe a good idea, because you reach more people, obviously, right? Yeah. But I don't know. I just don't think it works, and I don't think I'll feel the same. I won't express myself the same.
At the end of the day, you have to be
English, sometimes I have to think about what I'm gonna say. Imagine in Spanish, I'll get stuck, dude. I'll be like, oh my god, no. I don't know. It'll probably take a lot of practice.
Yeah. That's at the end of the day, you just have to be comfortable with whatever route you take. Right. The more comfortable, the more fun you have, and I think that when you have fun at what you're doing, I think
comes
that's
easier.
Yeah, you realize that you can keep doing it.
Yeah, no, and that is true too. When you have fun, what you're doing, that's really where it's all at. When you have a passion and a drive for what you do, man, there's like nothing that can stop you. Yeah. You become like super determined, and it's just that's where you really start growing. When you're really like deeply passionate to what you're doing, and you see a future doing it. Yeah. Because sometimes people like are super on the short term and trying to get the money fast and this fast, but when you think about like what you're gonna do in the next 15 or 20 years, and that's something that you kind of like, you feel like you could do this for 20 years, whatever it is, whether it's insurance, if it's building your own agency, digital marketing agency, whether it's fitness, whether it's whatever the hell it is, when you're passionate about it, there's just a drive that, no matter what barrier gets set in front of you, you're always gonna try to overcome it. So that's super big. I want to also ask you about like challenges. What were like big challenges you had when you were like starting up this new agency? Mm-hmm. Like things that you have doubts that you were like, oh, this is not gonna happen. Yeah, I know everybody has doubts, but like like detailed, like how were you at some point where like, yo, forget this, I'm not doing this no more. Mm-hmm. Like I'm gonna quit. I'd rather just go back to school and do this, or get a job here. Have you ever had those challenges? Try to fight things like that.
I mean, I don't think I've gotten to the point where I'm like, yo, I want to quit, right? Because I feel like that things are going to take time. Yeah. Right? And as long as you understand that, I think you're fine. I think that one of the challenges that I faced is that, look, I graduated in 2015, and to be honest, it's not that far away. It's like 4 years.
I know.
It's not that bad. But when you think about it, there are people who graduated with you that are already making like, so a certain amount of money, and you obviously everyone compares themselves, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where it gets frustrating, right? Because I'm like, look, I could be making as much as that person right now if I would have stayed the corporate route. Yeah, right. I could have kept on doing that. But you really just have to tell yourself, and this is what I tell myself. It's like, look, we're all on different roads, right? The person who's working at that corporate job, they want to be, maybe they want to be the CEO one day. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're okay with where they are and they don't want to take on any more responsibilities, which is totally cool, right? But for me, it's different. I don't want to work for someone. I want to build my own thing because, like I mentioned, I would like to be independent and like kind of like retire without retiring in my 30s. Right. And so it's like one of those things where you compare yourself, but you have to keep in mind at the end of the day, what's your goal. Right. And it's like it's pretty much that, you need patience.
Yeah, definitely. trying to like cut into what you just said though right there, like how do you plan on like retiring on 30 though? You plan on creating a huge agency and then just like selling it, or like what is like
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it, right? That's the only way. The only way I can think of.
Business in general, right? Because like, look, businesses, look, a McDonald's, right? Just one McDonald's might make $1 million, right?
Yeah.
Assuming, I mean, and these are just random numbers, but if you're the owner of one McDonald's and maybe you make 10% of that in like revenue, that's maybe 100,000 a year. You have 10 McDonald's, that's $1 million a year. You get the idea, right? It's like you're able to grow business to millions of dollars if it's your business. If you work for someone, you're capped by what they're willing to pay you, right? So that's where I see the big difference. But at the end of the day, it's really up to what you want, right? Being an entrepreneur, to be honest, it's not for everyone. It's frustrating, very frustrating at times. It's very rewarding at times. But it's you always have to get out of your comfort zone. Yeah. Right? You know the whole get out of your comfort zone? You're an entrepreneur, you're going to get out of your comfort zone. Yeah.
And how about those hard parts where it gets frustrating as being an entrepreneur? What do you do to get yourself back into like, not in that whole negative mindset mode or that, like the doubting and all that? How do you get out of that? Is there anything you do? Like, I know there's people like, I know you exercise, you work out. There's some people that's just, probably take a day off and just, I don't know, go run or go to the gym and don't do no work. Do you do any of that?
Yeah. Well, I think at the end of the day, the important thing is that, and the good thing is that I have a business partner, right? So it's like, chances are you're not both going to be feeling like down, right?
And when you never know, it could happen.
It could happen, but to be honest, I think that it's because you have a business partner. Like if some days he's frustrated, I'll be like, "Yo, you shouldn't be frustrated for this reason." Yeah. If maybe I'm frustrated, he'll say, "Look, you shouldn't be frustrated for this reason," and that helps out tremendously. Because, like I mentioned, like you can be comparing yourself, you could be frustrated, but at the end of the day, you got to think about the angle. Right. Yeah. If you think about the angle, you're gonna realize, wow, I have so much time. Look, I'm 26. I'm not at where I want to be yet, but guess what? I'm only 26.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And you have a lot of time. That's the truth. But that's I think key. It's having a business partner or having a group of people that you're always able to share ideas with, like-minded people. Yeah. Right. I have a lot of I know a lot of people that graduated with me. They're not all on the same page because they're working at corporations and stuff.
Everyone has different visions.
Everyone has different visions. But if you find those that you can keep on working with, then I think that's extremely important and empowering. You know?
No, definitely. No, and that's 100%. Like who you keep around you is definitely like I was hearing that today in the morning too. They were saying about you are the seed. But the seed will grow, and depending on how fast and how big it grows, it all depends on the soil you planted in, which is the people you hang around with all the time, right? Exactly. And that's 100% true. Like and not only just the people, but everything you digest, right? Yeah. Not just digest like in food, but everything you watch, everything you read, everything you do, all the conversations you have. Those are so important on your growth because. Think about it. If you're always with people that are nagging, that are gossiping, that are being negative, you're just going to follow that same route 100%.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, man. And for me, to be honest, like, those are things that I do is just try to keep a positive mindset all the time. You just have to. Like, you can't fall into the whole negative cycle and, it's just hurting yourself over it. Exactly. Because all you do, you're just poisoning yourself.
Yeah. You got to understand that that whatever you're feeling is temporary. Right. Yep. And that if you keep on working at what you're doing, but you always have to be taking different actions. You can't just keep on doing the same thing and then,
tripping over the same rock. You can't
exactly. Do that. That's pretty good. You always have to be doing different things and eventually you're going to strike something that works. Right. Yeah. So that's pretty much
and it's exactly what you said though. Patience. Patience is definitely the number one key because that's where most people fall out because sometimes it's just like I know you've probably seen that meme because it's gone viral so many times. The little guy with the pike, so close to the gold, never got there because he wasn't patient enough. Yeah. He just gave up. Yeah. So
and it's to be honest, it's extremely easy to open up a business, and I always come across people that file an LLC in the state. Mm-hmm. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Right. It's you have to work, and you have to be consistent, and you have to have patience.
Yeah, no, 100%. But you know what I feel like is a lot of struggle for people to open up businesses? It's just like what we were talking about in the beginning was the bills. Like when you open up a brand new business, and that's it, you're not getting a salary, you're not getting a paycheck from nobody. It's just whatever you sell. Like you have rent due to like the first of next month, right?
But here's the thing: people think that they need a lot of money to start a business.
Well, not to start it, but like what's coming in.
Yeah.
Like because some people could just start an online business, which is relatively pretty much almost free, right? Mm-hmm. Or obviously you gotta invest in maybe whatever you sell clothes, you gotta invest in that, but it's not, you don't have to waste so much money. Mm-hmm. But that first like 5-6 months, that first year, how are you gonna pay your bills?
Well, the thing is, you don't need to drop everything.
Yeah,
you don't. At the end of the day, you need to manage your time.
Exactly.
Because it's possible that a lot of people. Right, I'm pretty sure most people after work they go home and they watch Netflix and TV and
now Disney Plus,
Instagram, right? But those are hours that you could be using to grow a business, right? Essence. Look, right now you just finished work and you're here doing this podcast, right? And maybe not today, but tomorrow you might be editing this, right? Yep. And you could have easily gone to your room to go watch TV. That's the thing.
Let me tell you, I can tell you,
this right here is your business, by the way.
Yeah,
whether you believe, definitely. Whether you see it like that or not, this right here, this podcast is your business.
Trust me, I see it like that. I see it like that 100%. That's why I dedicate time to it, and it's all about it's just your, how do you call it, like priorities. What do you really want to do? Do you really want to get to that next level in your life? If you do, then you just gotta like, what would you rather do? Yeah, I guess watching TV. Or watching, look, the Heat play today. I'm missing that. And I would love to watch them play, but this is a priority. I'm going to watch House of Highlights on Instagram in a little while and see what happens, right? So this is more important, and everything that I do with my, my career and everything is super important to me. So yeah, man, it's all about how you dedicate your time and what you're going to do with it. Definitely. That's 100%.
Yeah.
So last question, my friend, to ask you before we end this is, if you had one advice that you could give anybody that you think that it could help them, whether it be in business, whether it be mental health issues that you've probably gone through and you've got yourself out, whether it be in your own digital marketing agency, what would that one advice be?
So general piece of advice, or one very powerful piece
just
of
one advice that it's just like will work. It will work for you because it's worked for me 100%. Something you're 100% sure that will work for somebody else.
I'd say do more. Do more, and by that I mean, if something's not working, do more and do something different.
Yeah.
Right, and it's by doing more, I feel like you get more done. I mean, it sounds so simple, but to be honest, it's true. Like if you want to look good, like physically, you can go to the gym. You just need to do more weight. You need to do more reps. You need to go to the gym more. Yeah. If you want to be able to understand, maybe if you want to take your business to the next level, you have to do more. You have to do email marketing, social media. You have to do advertising. You just got to do more, right? And I'm not saying like, do more and then do it for like a year, 2 years. Do it for like maybe a couple of months, 3 months, and see how it goes. But just always do more. Do more, because then you'll know what works and what doesn't work.
It's exactly like that niche we were talking about. You try everything, and then once you already know, then you know what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
But you gotta first try everything.
Exactly.
If you don't try a piece of everything, then you're just never gonna know.
Exactly.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much for stopping by. You're great, my friend. Thank you.
Appreciate it.